Recovering from this storm, we got hit with a bomb cyclone. So like it knocked over hella trees and hella shit.
God damn. And where you
Yeah.
from?
I'm from Arkansas, but I'm currently staying in Seattle, Washington.
Okay. Okay. Before we even dive in further, I'm going to do the introduction, and I'm going to have you introduce yourself. You ready?
Okay.
All right. Welcome to Origins. Today we're fired up to introduce a true powerhouse in the world of entrepreneurship. Our special guest has turned dreams into reality, carving out a path filled with grit and innovation. Get ready to be inspired as we dive into their journey, uncovering the secrets of success and the drive that keep them pushing forward. Let's welcome our special guest. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, how y'all doing? My name is Kai. I've been a videographer for about 5, 6 plus years. Recently an entrepreneur for about a year now. So yeah, been doing this for a long time, but it's good to be here.
Shout out to you. And tell us a bit of, about your journey, how this all started.
Shit. It started back when like what was that out? It was before TikTok, bro. No, it wasn't musically. It was Vine. It started with Vine. So back when
Mm,
Vine was like a huge thing, I used to work at like UPS. I was a supervisor there. Homie of mine was like, he want to start doing skits. So I was like, bet. I started getting in. I got a journal. Started getting into my bag. Like over the weekend, I had wrote like 6, 7 vines. Got back to that Monday. Chopped it up with dude. He was like, yeah, man, I'm not even doing them no more. So I was like, oh man, which was like a common occurrence for me. I used to people like flaking
mm,
out on shit. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it on my own. So I went out bought my first ever iPhone because I was a Samsung type of person before. Started shooting the skits on my phone, and I was like, man, it's just not sharp enough. Something got to give. So I bought a little Canon, a little Canon T3i. I was shooting off of
mm,
that with the kid lens. I was like, it's still not hitting the way I wanted to. So I kept shooting. I got like better lenses, and then I was like, it's still not hitting. So then I took like a whole break for like a year. I got a new job. I was like full time reading like electrical meters. So like I was a guy in everybody's backyard, looking at the meters, reading up how much electricity you was using. Saved up for like a year. Bought my first like black magic, and then just started hopping into music videos from there. And then it's just kind of just been history. So it's a very funny beginning.
shout out to you. And how many years of experience do you have?
About like 8 now at this point because I started back in I'm trying to think. 2017, 2018. So I
Congratulations.
started. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I was just like doing the homies music videos back at home. Random like skits here and there too. Also getting into like commercial stuff, but really just stuff I can find around the house, trying to build that portfolio up. COVID hit. COVID hit hard. I was getting into my bag with like something else, like grocery orders and shit.
Mm,
Moved to Atlanta. I was out there for like 6 months to a year. Went out to New York for like a month. I planned on staying out there for the whole winter, but like my personal experience in New York was so terrible. I just went back to Atlanta, and then I moved back out to Seattle, which I have been like coming out here and there a little bit.
and the part that was a bad experience for the New York part, was that for like the business or, just living there?
Just living there, some personal stuff. I had worked out a
Oh,
deal with this guy on Airbnb, low rate for a little room. He kind of oversold me on how little the room was. Like I got there, it was a closet they threw a bed in. First
oh,
week, no, first few days, apparently somebody had a cat who stayed in there. And if you've never been to New York, they got these blocks. Like if you ever seen Everybody Hates Chris, it's exactly like that, and it's like 8 people per house. So this person
yeah.
had this cat. The cat would go in there and sleep on the bed. Cat had fleas. So like the whole room infested with fleas. I come out. I'm like, I can't be the only one that noticed that it's fleas and it like you can see him on the ground jumping. So I said something to the guy. He act like I'm crazy. The other person like, oh, actually I do got fleas. I'm gonna bomb the whole house, but I'm gonna have to bomb it after I get off work tomorrow, the next day. And so I'm like, no, I'm gonna go to the store and get some bombs now. Cause like, what do you
Mm,
mean? So then, like, so after
mm,
that, I was like, I gotta get up out of here. And then just the traffic, because my job required me to like drive around a lot. So like the traffic was just, and it's not even the drivers. Like the drivers actually are fine because they gonna get to where they gotta go. It's really just the infrastructure. Like there's a light every like 2 minutes on the road. So if one light is red, even the lights that's green can be backed up. Or if a UPS truck or a FedEx truck stops because they're dropping off packages because all like there are no parks or like parking areas, it's just lane and then cars on both sides of the road. So they just kind of
Mm,
hop out to drop off where they got to drop off and keep it moving. So you're gonna have streets, blocks backed up with traffic. So it
gotcha.
was like nothing really with the business because I hear New York is like a great experience for like creatives, creative stuff, especially like fashion, photography. It was just more like personal stuff. So I definitely want to go back eventually, but it just ain't in the cards right now.
Okay. Now I can understand that. And uh, and what was the purpose for you to move down to New York? Was that had something to do with your job, or was you making business move?
Some business moves and like my personal job at the time. Like a lot of people don't know this, but during COVID, I think it was Ship and it was Instacart, like dropping off groceries.
Mm,
Bro, you everybody who was doing it was eating tough, like tough. They was eating. That paid for like all of my equipment. Like all of COVID paid for all of my equipment that I got now. Um, I was coming out bouncing from like Seattle and New York, and during that time, like I'm not playing. I was bringing in 2K a week off of just bringing people groceries.
mm.
So I was eating. I was going crazy.
Did that hustle die down, or you don't do
Yeah,
it
it's
no more?
dead now.
Okay.
It's dead. Everybody ain't stuck in the house. People get their own groceries because Instacart was like marking people up. So you paying
Mm,
twice what you would pay to go pick it up. But there's no way for you to
mm,
know that when it was like fresh and when you was just kind of stuck in the home and people just didn't want to risk it. So the orders was like booming. Like
mm,
each order was like $30, $40 a pop. So like I'm doing like 10 a day. So I'm bringing 300, 400 in daily. Um, so that pretty much paid for all the equipment and everything I got now. Fast forward to like post equipment. We talking like 10, 12K worth of like equipment just to really do this at a professional level. Um,
mm.
so it don't matter like where you are at. Like I got lucky with that kind of hustle, but regardless, you are gonna have to find you like some type of way to bring this income. If you're interested in videography, photography is a little bit easier to get into because the cost to get started is a lot lower. But like for film, and you trying to do like commercials or you trying to shoot like quality music videos, you gotta get lights, you gotta get light stands, you gotta get the cameras, the lenses. It's gonna cost you a lot of money.
No. And for how far do you dive into?
What you mean?
What is exactly the title of it again?
Filmmaking, like
Oh,
videography?
okay, filming. Yeah. So I seen that you did ads and like music videos and like short film. Are you looking to dive deeper into that world? Like, get into like movies or anything? What's your
Yeah,
goals or
yeah.
plans for that?
Definitely looking to get more into it. My start, especially when I was in Atlanta, was way more music video oriented. And it is fun. It's very creative, but it's a lot more limited than you would think it would be. And once you start getting into labels and everything, it starts to become like really exploitative or
Mm,
exploitative. I mean, um, so now I'm trying to phase into like, okay, I want to tell like short stories, maybe not like a film, because again, once you start getting into like Hollywood, you start dealing with just
mm,
BS. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain kind of story they want told in Hollywood, and it doesn't really extend to people of color like that for real, unless it's,
mm.
you know what I'm saying, unless it's like slavery movies and shit like that. So getting into like short films, making my own stuff. I would love to get to a point where I can like make my own show. I feel like Atlanta FX with Childish Gambino and the rest of the crew was a very crazy and like Afro surrealism type of vibe. It was hilarious. It was deep without being pretentious and like spoon feeding you shit. So I'm definitely looking to get more into like just that storytelling element.
Okay. Okay. And you brought up a couple things that I'm curious about. One,
Mhm.
um, your difficulties, when it comes to like, directing music videos. Uh, you I think you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said it's not as free spirit as it
Yeah, no,
seems.
it's not. Nah,
Okay.
nah.
Is that from the
Uh,
perspective that you had to do it in your client point of view, or
Pretty
is
much.
okay?
It gets more because so when you're like starting off and you just shooting videos for the homies or random people hitting you up on Instagram, you do have hella creative control over that. Like, absolutely. Because it's just two people. Once you get into labels and people got teams and they got marketing managers, is when everybody's like perspective or what everybody wants starts to come into the vision. Because I have to create these treatments, which a treatment is basically just like a video mood board. I have to make that to pitch it to the artist and their team. The artist may or may not even see it because it's really going to go to the team first. The team has to look at it from like a budget standpoint. Is this hitting what we're looking for? They already have an idea of what they're looking for. So is this even close to what we want and how easy is this to actually do? Then they send it to the artist and then it may get sent to the label and everybody has to approve before you can even say, yeah, we're going to pay you to do this. So
That sounds
it's
like a
just
job
like,
within a job.
it definitely is, bro. It definitely is, man. So
Okay.
most of the time, that's why you see a lot of the music videos. If you're really into them, they kind of just look like the same formula, and they all look really similar. Like I can name drop Brent Fayez. A lot of his music videos is literally just him in green screen. Like he may have a chair or something, but like it's green screen. A lot of this stuff is just like digitally edited because it's easy to shoot that. So that don't
Mm.
cost a lot
And I
of money
started to
to just
notice,
have somebody key it.
and I started to notice within like commercials for like especially like cars or
Mm-hmm.
like shop marks like Walmart or something, it started to use AI, and it's like
No
noticeable.
thanks. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Cheap
So
labor.
like,
That's all it is. Cheap labor. They ain't got to pay nobody for that.
and I'm curious, to give you the floor to, bring up. I always hear the experience, mostly, the real side of like artists dealing with the labels. But I would like to hear from your experience, from someone that, directing, film, and everything. Uh, you mind telling us, a bit of your experience of that world?
Yeah, I got you. Uh, Now I don't really have too much experience. I was fortunate to get connected with this guy out there who was killing the game by the name of Director Creed. He has done a lot of stuff. He is definitely more in tune with a lot more of what the labels want, what they need. So like some of the small stuff that I shot with was it was like super cool, but like the labels are just, bro, they are infuriating. Like when you get to dealing with some of these celebrities, they kind of like divas. There was one guy, which I ain't gonna drop his name, you know what I'm saying, because I don't want nobody to fall back on, fall back
Mm,
on me. But I remember being on set and they was like, okay, we can shoot the music video and it's gonna be green screen, so we're just gonna be in the studio. But like, we gotta get craft for them, which craft is a part of every single set, and craft just means like snacks, drinks, food to keep all of the talent and like extras and crew fed. Because some of these shoots can go on for 8, 9 hours, so it's important to have food.
mm,
One guy was like, he needs a special type of like chip mix, like not Lay's. It's got to be the Fritos. It's got the chili Fritos in them. He wanted this V8 fruit medley juice. You got to get that, not the other tropical juice because the tropical is nasty. You got to get this other shit because they also want to make sure they got chicken on deck for the crew and everything. And then we set up the date for the shoot. It's literally like the next day we get a call from the label saying, "Hey, yeah, so the artist actually he made a mistake. He in Miami, so he ain't gonna be here tomorrow. So now we gotta take all this shit we just bought back, and then we gotta rebuy it for the next set. So it's just like it's a huge headache because you
mm,
do have your hands tied behind your back because you are still like on your toes trying to make sure that you actually get this project completed because you could get fired and you could do this. And now, you know what I'm saying, not only are they not working with you no more, but they probably, you know what I'm saying, getting blacklisted from labels is a real thing because they all are connected. So
mm,
it just really feel like, am I a videographer or, you know what I'm saying, am I a waiter? Am I waiting tables? Am I trying to make sure that you're the happiest? We got people who coming on, label included, but like we already got the game plan, we got the treatment laid out, and then you got the artist or the label manager on the set talking about, yeah, I don't really like this part. Let's cut this out, and maybe let's have to do something like directed. Like, bro, you gonna come and do
Mm.
my job? Like that shit is crazy. And so
So,
it's just a huge headache, man.
and I hear you. And so, and what is your responsibility on paper?
Is it on paper?
No, like,
Uh,
like on paper, like what is your
mhm.
responsibility that they tell you outright compared to, like the extra shit that you got to do?
Director of photography and then camera op. So like I am in charge of how everything is visually represented. I'm the one that determines how this stuff will look, like the angles, the shots themselves, the movements, and then if I'm operating the camera, I'm the one actually doing the movements and like setting up the camera in terms of the angle. Because those two roles can be different. Like you have some people who just are the DP, and you have some people who are just the camera op, and then you have some people who are just a creative director. So
Mm.
like any one of those three is typically what you end up switching. Right now, I do a lot of work with just me, maybe two other people. So I'm like interchanging all three of those hats. But like that is pretty much, which that's not even getting into like the rest of the roles because you got gaffers, you got lighting crew. But at least for what I do, DP, creative director, and camera op. So certain movements where you see like a camera might be spinning or certain things like that, you may see a guy who has like this giant vest on. His vest got like a mechanical arm that attached to the camera, and that's just so when he's walking, it's stabilized, and he doesn't
Oh,
have 200 to 300 pounds of equipment in his hands
yeah.
fucking his back up. So like they
Yeah,
do
they
all of the.
usually, oh my bad, go.
No, go ahead, go ahead, you good?
No, I was just recalling the cameraman. I usually see them for like really intense scenes or like something that's moving. I
Yeah,
usually see those type of guys. Okay, yeah, I know.
yeah.
But go
Yeah,
ahead.
so they'll pop up and they'll get hired like separately for smaller things because that's also a job in itself. Like there are people who own that equipment themselves, and like their sole role is just to know how to get the smoothest shot possible and flip the camera in a circle and do different things. So they'll pop up and be on an hourly rate. So and with these like high value music videos, you may have a budget of like 60K, and that's going toward paying the crew, paying the extras, paying the models, paying for the space. So you may personally walk away with like 1,500 to 2,000 out of that $60,000 budget. The bigger your name is, the more of a cut you get to make. The more connections you have, again, the more of a cut you get to take. But you're not typically getting paid like crazy from each thing, which is why people be hustling so hard to shoot them.
Wait. So you telling me it's my job to do these things?
Yes,
Then I got to get the budget. Then I got
absolutely,
to work with all these other motherfuckers coming up with their own, you know, standards and shit. And that's gonna get taken out of the budget.
absolutely, absolutely. In
Oh, that's
some
some
cases, there may
bullshit.
be some left over. If you manage to do it smart enough, you may, you know what I'm saying, you could, like, if the budget 60K and you pay everybody and everything come exactly how it's supposed to come together and you still got like 5 or 6 left. You know what I'm saying? In some cases, you could probably still pocket that as like a business expense or whatever. But more often than not,
Mm.
though, you're not walking away from from this shit and like you
No,
set, you know what I'm saying?
no, I
Yeah.
understand about the crew. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you gotta pay the crew. Your team and everything.
Hmm.
I understand that part. But when we was also talk about like the extra shit, like the food and the groceries, like especially if the artists don't show up, that came out of the budget, right?
Oh,
So,
absolutely. But that also that
eh,
falls on them though. So
okay,
it ain't your yeah, it
okay,
ain't on you. They gotta kind of resurface that budget, but it may
okay.
still come out of the budget. Like if you rented all the stuff for the day and then he don't show up and then you got to do it next week. Out of that 60K, probably not going to reimburse you extra for that. Like you probably
What?
still gonna have to make that shit work. Exactly. So it's just kind of like
That's what I was
sometimes the
getting
budget just
at.
be like, well, even though our artist isn't in the city, we only have because they love to say that shit. We only have this amount allocated for this. So like, what I'm saying, is there any way
Mm,
we could get like a cheaper space or we could get this because they don't want to spend more than what they already put in. So like
okay.
most sets are also very stressful because everything that can go wrong usually does go wrong, and you still have to, as a director, have to figure out how to communicate this shit with
Yeah,
everybody and like doing all this other shit.
yeah, I
So
can see that being unnecessary, stressful.
yeah.
Um, And I'm curious, for anybody that's, interested to go down that field, similar to your shoes, do you have any advice for them?
Man, just shoot. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give you. If you have an idea, just shoot it. Don't let people tell you that gear don't matter. It absolutely does. Like it matters down from the lens you're using to the fucking accessory piece that you attaching onto the camera. These are tools that make our lives easier, but not having it shouldn't stop you from making anything. Like you can still create a really good story or really good music video and just make it more creative because you are lacking something. So personally, a lot of my sets or a lot of the stuff I do like on my own, or at least recently, I should say, I end up building my own sets for it because I don't have a studio space. So in order to combat that, I just have to get a little bit more flexible on how I do certain things. So like I've built a terrarium outside, like using like rocks and shit, and made a whole like 3D box out of like wood planks from Home Depot. I've bought some spider webs from like Amazon, built a whole set where like the whole set looks like a cocoon of spiders, just using like light stands and stuff like that. So like if you have an idea, figure out how to execute it, figure out how to scale it down into something that you can do because it's not about what you don't have, it's about what you do have. And when you combine what you are limited with, what you can be creative with, that's when you can make something that's really unique that's going to get you eyes because anybody can have a $1,000 photo camera, $1,000, especially in this day and age, you can get you a Sony for like $1,500 and shoot movie quality stuff. So nobody is looking at how sharp your images are or how quality your audio is as much as they're looking at like what is the story that's being presented, how does this speak to me, and how are they approaching these limitations and making it something that is fun, sad, or just like whatever direction that you have. So my biggest piece of advice is just to just do it. There's plenty of excuses that you can have for why you can't do something. Um, and I said I've been shooting for like 6 to 8 years, but I haven't become, or 6 plus years, but like I haven't become an actual entrepreneur and gotten serious until the last year because I personally have made so many excuses. Um, so like, just you just got to do it. You just got to do it. Worry about the rest of the stuff later.
Shout out to that. And I'm curious, do you have, any advice for the ones that's considering going to, working with the label?
Um, man, just, just keep your head up, man. Just keep your head up. Get you a little punching bag. Hang that bitch up somewhere. Cause I swear to God, you gonna be ready to swing. That's all I got to
um,
say, man.
do you have any, you know, good experience dealing with the label or anything
Yeah. I
goes
mean,
at all? You know?
not everything with them is a pain in the ass. Honestly, it's gonna be a pain in the ass whether it's a labor or not, because
Mm,
it's just people got like different shit. It's a very stressful job to have. There are a lot of different like expectations. It's gonna take you a minute to figure out like what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate, and like what's the standard of business for yourself. Um, so like, yeah, you gonna have a good experience. You gonna have a bad experience. I got horror stories with labels. I got horror stories with like clients who reach out to me on Instagram or like anywhere else. Um, so like, what I'm saying, I do have some good experiences where I just showed up. I got a call one night. They wanted me to pop up at like Rick Ross mansion to shoot some quick shit. So like, yeah, what I'm saying? It's a give and take on both sides. I just kind of on my own just kind of got tired of dealing with the frustrations more than I feel like the good parts.
no problem. And what is the pros of like, working with them?
Working with labels,
Yeah.
uh, shit, um, instant validation, I think, is the biggest one. Like if you are working with labels and you work with them exclusively, you are going to be exclusively working with celebrities, which instantly is going to shoot you up to like, oh, damn, such and such shot this with such and such. That's going to shoot you up here, and that's in your portfolio. So now when people look at you, like they not gonna see all of this bullshit that happened or how much you got paid or if you didn't get paid. They just gonna see that, oh, so and so shot with Drake, or so and so shot with Kendrick, so and so shot with Eminem. That's all they gonna see. So like it's gonna instantly skyrocket you in terms of like desirability. Um, and then because you are working with these labels and these bigger name artists, you are also getting to work with other professionals. So like if you have a lot to learn, or whatever, you are seeing like well-oiled machines operate and knock this shit out, regardless of what's being thrown at them. Because you will be shocked at like the amount of stuff that gets thrown out. Like most treatments will lay out exactly how something's supposed to go, and then half of that still get thrown out anyway. So it's a great and dope like learning experience. It helps you build your portfolio for sure, and it helps make you desirable to everybody else because anything a celebrity do, everybody's looking at. So,
Okay.
you know,
Thank you for the tip, especially for anybody to take that advice. I think it's always good to hear the pros and the cons.
for sure.
Um, and just letting people decide on their own if that's something they want to deal with. Uh, but for me, for being free spirit, that would definitely not be an environment that I would appreciate. I would at least want it to be, worth it.
Yeah.
uh, but I can understand that for some people that would still take it up. Like you said, instant validation that people can get, just around themselves for certain celebrities and certain people.
Yeah.
Um, and it's very connection based. So, and I'm guessing you're done with that. Like you fully doing your own independent thing.
Yeah, at least for right now. That's kind of
Okay.
why I left Atlanta. I wanted to just kind of make more of a name for myself and figure out what kind of director and creator I wanted to be. And just also learn some business skills because it also is kind of easy to get swept up in like other people's sets, other people's dreams, other people's stuff that you don't really get to develop your own brand, your own stuff. Um, so yeah.
No, I respect it. And what is right now? What's your mission again?
So
Building your brand.
pretty much just keep creating dope shit. Uh, Like I, at one point in time, I wanted to have like which I have started my own production company, but at one point I really wanted it to like go further than that and like not only have a production company but an animation studio. And I'm paying everybody fair wages. We creating like some of the most craziest shit. We making anime. But I had to
Really?
scale down because, like, yeah, all that sounds cool, but like, there is so much of the day to day that I have to get down before I can even get there. So, like, first,
Mm-hmm.
I have to make a name for myself in whatever market that I'm in. So, like, Seattle was the last place that I landed on, but it wasn't like my desired market. If you want to get into film, um, you have LA, New York, and Atlanta. Those are the three biggest hubs for just film in general. So I kind of just landed here just off of like again searching for my own way. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so you just really or fuck, I kind of lost my train of thought. I ain't gonna lie.
No, it's cool.
Uh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so there's so much I gotta do like before I can really get there. So like I need to dominate whatever market I'm in, no matter where I'm at. I cannot have an excuse for why I'm not creating anymore. So like with me being in Seattle, or if I was still in Arkansas, or I was still anywhere else, I figured out once I landed out here that like me moving around isn't exactly helping me because I need to start building connections, start building a foundation. So I need to get planted
Mm-hmm.
first. I need to make a name for myself and like discover what the base standard for like quality for me that fulfills me is, and then keep on hitting that and keep continue or maintaining consistency with that. Because if I can't be consistent, it doesn't matter. In
No.
this age, we have so much content coming out day to day. We have all these dope people who can do shit 10 times better than you. You have to figure out what makes your shit you. Um,
I
and
agree.
once you kind of hit those 3 points, that's when you can start thinking about this from like, okay, how do I scale up? How do I turn this into like an oil machine? How do I start, saying, trying to get into six figures? But I can't really worry about that until I start bringing in income first, until I start bringing in X amount first. Like, how much do my bills
Mm-hmm.
cost me? How much does that translate into how much I need to make? So, like, if my hypothetically, my rent, all my bills, including my rent, were to come out to 3K, I have to be able to shoot and guarantee 5K monthly just for me to be able to cover my bills and have at least two set aside for like extra shit. And that's just still just kind of getting by because like next month I have to do it again. I'm not even putting that up for my savings. But like you
Mm-hmm.
really have to tackle this from like a step to step process and just scaling up from that and continuing to go up. But you really have to knock out your bases and stuff first. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a very long way of just saying like my goals are kind of changing as I continue to change. as I continue to keep it realistic with myself, because it's very easy as an artist for me to just feel very dreamy. Like I would love to have this huge company and doing all this other stuff, but realistically, I have to hire 20 to 30 plus employees to do that, and they all got to be good. I got to vet them because they can't just be people who are just starting out. They have people who see
Mm,
the vision, who are prepared to do the work, and then once you get into animating, it also gets even more complicated. So right
I
now,
agree.
the goal is just to continue being self sufficient. For like the last 6 to 8 months, I have solely just been shooting. So only just been shooting. I was working at a camera job for a while. I quit that. I got a big client. He's been paying like most of my shit. So I'm also trying to like figure out my marketing strategy for how I bring on more clients like that. So I continue to scale up and I can make being a creative more of a long term goal than just like
Okay.
a for the moment.
And giving you the floor too. Uh,
Mm.
and this is your chance. Now you can speak this truth out there. What talents are you looking? Who are you looking to connect with?
Uh, People who are dedicated, people who are not afraid to put 110% in on every project, because everything that I do isn't exactly the most paying thing. Like I have my clients who do pay me a hell of a lot for a project, and I also have my other clients who have an idea and they're passionate, but they don't have that much money behind it. So people who are willing to come in and they see the vision behind that shit and they trying to put 110% in on everything. Because when I was talking about building them sets and everything, those were gigs that I was just getting paid 3 or 400. And like, I
Mm,
remember working with people and they on the set, and I can't believe you putting so much energy onto this $300 job. Like you built this whole set, you did this, and I feel like you putting so much of yourself into this. But like, how will I ever expect to get 2,000 per job if I'm not putting $2,000 worth of work ethic into my craft? So, um,
okay.
yeah, just gotta, you know what I'm saying, just gotta hop on it. I'm looking for people who are passionate about the art form and also passionate about learning the business side. Because then we can all share the shine together. Like, it's not a, I don't feel like as an artist, any of us should be competing with each other. I feel like it's kind of counterproductive because if we just work together,
Mm,
we could we could do so much more for each other. Like hypothetically, if more artists came together and like we all agreed on what the base level price for our work is, we could create a standard of what people pay us for our shit instead of having it like essentially like a staircase. Like you first start getting into it, you're gonna start doing it for free. Then you're gonna start charging $200, $300, then eventually 5 or 6. And the person after you don't know what to charge, so they're gonna charge 200, and they may be just as good as a person who just got to 500. And so now they got to compete with each
mm,
other because it's like I can hire you for the 5, but buddy also doing it for 2. So why not just hire him who's doing it for 2? And then the difference is like negligible versus if we both had a community where we understood like how much effort goes into this shit. And like even if you are just starting off, let's just start off at 5. Everybody would get to come
mm,
in and get to charge 5. But it's such a like kind of like piranha style like community when it comes to like this money shit. Everybody,
mm.
a lot of people are not working together like that for real. So that's pretty much what I look for. I definitely look for the dedication, look for the passion, look for the ability, and you know, what I'm saying I just look for you showing up. So
Okay. And when it comes to talent, is there any specific ones that you want to call
is
out?
it?
So like people could be like, call me like film directors, YouTubers, or anything, artists,
Yeah, anybody. I feel like
anybody.
being passionate. Yeah, if you're passionate
Okay.
and the passion is there and you ready to get into it, I can work with you at any level. I'm not, I'm not this high level artist. I feel like just yesterday I was just starting out myself. So like, if you prepared to do
Mm,
the work, I can teach you. I can help. You know what I'm saying? I've been thinking about putting together some courses and stuff, but like if you are passionate and you're good at what you're doing, reach out to me. I got you. I can show you like some of what I do, my process for a lot of different stuff. If you're in the Seattle area, definitely reach out. I'm not afraid to let people like borrow my equipment and do certain things like that if we are cool and we got that relationship. Because at the end of the day, to
no.
me, it is definitely about just creating shit that we can all be proud of. And personally, having to fight so hard to get to where I'm at now, I don't feel like it should be like that for everybody. Like, especially I went through that shit. I'm not going to make the next person go through 8 plus years because I had to go through 8 plus years, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really matter what you do. If you're on YouTube, TikTok, you just shoot, you know what I'm saying? You at the camcorder level right now, you shooting camcorder skate videos. You're interested in getting your hands into some different shit, into some stories or into some music videos, we can talk.
Okay. Well, I like to hear the passion in you, and I actually have four talents that you might find interesting. But I'll leave it up to
Mm-hmm.
you if you want to connect with them.
I bet.
Shout out to our first one. So it's funny that you was talking about, you have interest to get in anime, animation and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, our first guy, shout out to One Nation, a black author. He's creating his own manga slash comic book.
Nice.
Um, so if you like to connect with somebody within that field that is an author, black owned, we can make that happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. He was also talking about animation. We have somebody that specializes in 2D animation, logos, flyers, animation, music videos, etc. Anything around 2D animation, he can do it. So if you're
Okay.
looking to connect with somebody, shout out to Mason Elatter. If you're looking to connect with that talent, we can make that happen.
Yeah, for sure. I'm probably gonna need you to send me these people because my
Oh yeah,
memory is
I'm gonna see
trash.
you after the
Yeah.
podcast.
Okay. Cool. 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 Because I ain't gonna lie,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
see you
forget.
after the
Like,
podcast. No problem.
all right,
All
bet.
right, third collaboration. Shout out to Jet Production. I know you were saying that you had some interest within the film area as well. He focused on short action films. He looking
Mm.
to collaborate with talents from artists, from soundtracks to you name it, anybody that got a talent is a like-minded soul of yours. So
Okay.
he all in there for creating something. Um, if you like to connect with somebody with that type of talent, you can make
Yeah,
that
for sure.
happen. Okay. And our last one, shout out to Moss. He's a producer slash artist, but we also collaborate between Origin and Moss. We doing our own label. We creating a hub for creators to come together and make music around themes and challenges. Um, Such as, for example, like mixing horror with like Valentine's. Um, so that's our first project. But if you like to specifically collaborate with the talent, the producer itself, uh, you know, we could definitely make that happen. If you're also interested in the project that we're working on, we can keep
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely down. Could always use music for shit.
you updated. I agree. I agree. Okay, so you're interested in all four talents?
Yeah,
Okay. I will send you their information after the podcast. Um, Checking out your website and also the music video and ads that you sent me. I was really impressed by the edits. I think it's really
I appreciate
professional,
it.
uh, really clean. Definitely see it something that appearing on my TV, being on like any branding platform such as like Netflix or whatever. Uh, and I would definitely say I don't see anybody would be dissatisfied with your craft. I think you definitely got talent. I think your experience definitely shows, and it's really entertaining to see. Uh, for the music video that you sent me, that was like all your creativity, or was
Yeah, that was all me. My
that was
homie
all you?
Asani. Yeah, my homie Asani. He had a like a treatment for it, kind of already made. Well, no, I said less of a treatment, more like a script. So I helped him translate most of that into a visual, which is my job. Um, he saw a different type of thing. We was gonna go to this other spot. That spot ended up being closed. So like outside of that, like the rest of that was me. I helped him scale it down and make it actually make sense because he didn't want like the most straightforward story. But like as far as like the couch that you saw in that on the golf course, because that's where we was at. That was my couch in the crib. I broke that bitch
Mm-hmm.
down because it came with IKEA. But we took it out there. It was like a 40-minute drive, and we spent like 2 full days putting that together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was pretty much all me. I had like a homie of
Okay.
mine, shout out Grace the artist. I can find her on IG or TikTok. She helped do some pickup shots, so you see all of the film shots and everything of the girls moving around and doing different things, running, turning. That was all her. She's cold at what she does too. But yeah, that was pretty
Okay.
much.
Well,
He came to me with that. We put that together. It was nice.
shout out to your vision. I think it came together pretty well. Uh,
Thank you.
um, what else I was going to say? Shit, I had a brain fart too. But I will ask this: when it came to your experience shooting like, music videos, do you have some of your past experiences? Which one is your favorite?
Hmm. Um, Trying to think. Honestly, probably the one we just was talking about with the field and everything. That was my first music video returning back to like just that type of style. In like a year or two because I've been staying out in Seattle for like 2 3 years. It took me kind of a minute to really get situated out here. So for the time being, um, I was shooting a lot more like short form content, so like vertical because it's kind of all the rage and stuff right now. So that was
Mm-hmm.
my first like return to horizontal video. He had this dope song. The song was bomb. So it was just so exciting to put that together. I've screened it officially too a couple times around the city. It is definitely one of the ones that I'm the most proud of because I feel like that one because all the ones I shot in Atlanta were they with the help of other people. So it wasn't just me. It was like the vision of other people. I was kind of following like a script of some sort, all these different like requirements and stuff like that. So it never really felt like they were like mine. You know what I'm saying? We all share the credit and everything on that. But this one felt like it was me from top to bottom. And so it was not only dope music, it was a dope music video, but it was also an indicator of like, okay, I'm officially at this level now because imposter syndrome is real. It like I didn't feel like
Mm-hmm.
I was that cold until that moment. I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, I'm killing this shit. So that's definitely
Mm-hmm.
my favorite one. There was another one I sent you, which was Jump, and that's like leaning back into kind of like damn, I can't think of the artist's name right now, but just like some underground shit. So like we intentionally overdid the edits, but I designed that from top to bottom too. Um, and it was just very challenging and very fun to put together because we had a quick turnaround for that one, but the effects went crazy. I hired this other editor, um, and he sent me back like a fire starting point. So he came back. I did like some crazy zoom edits on that bitch. That one hard too. So I'm really the most proud of both of those, and I feel like I'm trying to like up the ante every single time. If I had to shout out something that wasn't exactly a music video project, it would be the cloud one. I think I got on my TikTok. It was like this very gorgeous model. She's on this like cloud bed, holding the cloud. That
Mm-hmm.
one, also one of my top favorites, just because of the amount of creativity and just like serene vibe that that whole shoot had, especially in light of how many things went wrong the day of that shoot. So yeah, that was probably my big
Mm-hmm.
three right there.
Okay. Okay. And I also seen that you have interest within fashion as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You mind telling us a bit more about that?
Uh, I started buying a lot of clothes and stuff recently. I've been trying to do like some fashion suits or shoots and stuff like recently. Homie of mine had a clothing brand. I did a photo shoot and a video shoot for him. He had these dope hats with like chains and like different types of like accessories on them. So then
Mm-hmm.
I came up with this like Venom style shoot. I got this slime. I got like a bunch of rope. I got chains, and then we like surrounded the whole set and turned it into like this chaotic web, and that whole project came out crazy. We got like the black slime dripping off of stuff. We got on one girl hand like she getting turned into a venom. It was just hard. It was just crazy. And then on the other
Yeah, I've
side of
seen
that,
that.
personally, yeah, yeah, yeah. So the bitch came out crazy. On the other side of that, though, personally, I've been getting really into fashion. I've been buying clothes, especially now that I can afford it outside of equipment because I kind of have a good foundation of shit that I need now. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
picking up like pieces from random smaller like small designers. So you got Bad Sun, which they're not that small, but their pieces sell out fast, and he only kind of release shit every 6 or so months. This other brand called Salt Studios with two A's. He got some crazy shit coming out, and he releases very often. but once it sells out, it's gone. Um, I think those are like the only two right now that I can think of. But just like I love clothes, it's such a nice way to like express yourself. So I'm really hoping to get more into like fashion photo shoots and fashion video shoots as well.
No, that's what's up. And I'm curious about two things. One, do you do any like behind the scenes, showcasing, what it takes to be in your shoes, directing and filming and
Sometimes,
everything? And
sometimes if I
second
can
thing,
afford to, oh my bad, go ahead.
the second thing I was curious about as well was merchandise. Do you have any
Mhm.
merchandise as
Okay. For the first question, sometimes, sometimes I can get the homie to come through. Sometimes I hire people to come through. I need to do better about getting up behind the scenes. I kind of want to get like a little GoPro that I can just put on my chest so I ain't got to think about it. I can just hit the record button and just go about the process. But like when I'm on the set though, unless I have somebody else doing it, it's very hard for me to get it myself because I'm already like, I'm thinking about what I'm trying to do, the potential angles I could get for this shot, the lighting setup, how true this is to the treatment or the visual like representation that I had at first, and then also trying to navigate any ups or downs. Like, does the model makeup look crazy? Do I have to compensate for that? Is the light too harsh on her face? Did this thing not work out? How do I like pivot from this because this ain't working? So it's really hard for me to jump out of that space into trying to shoot um, afterwards. Does my volume sound crazy? I think my headphones just died.
well? No, I was able to hear you clearly.
Okay, cool. Um, yeah, so it's really hard to get to behind the scenes because I just be so locked in. Second question, I don't have any merch either. Because if I was to drop anything clothes wise, I would want it to be creative and genuine. I don't want to just have like a black or white tee that just say Kai or my production company on it because
No,
anybody can do that. Which is no shade to people who do. Like
mm,
it is what it is. But I just want something that's a little bit more like a little bit more
unique.
creative. Yeah, to me. Because
No,
whenever I like buy clothes, I'm always attracted to stuff that's unique and just different. So I don't want to put out anything that looks like somebody else could do it.
no, okay. And can you tell us a bit more about your production company?
Yeah, so the name of my company is called Surreal Productions. It's been around for like the last 6 months. It's also my website, which is www.khalidwatson.com, which is my full name. Um, and I mean, it's pretty much just a like a team of one right now. So, I'm saying, hoping to get some more members, but it's just, I'm saying, being transparent. I do a lot of stuff on my own, and I was working with a few other groups and everything, and it just kind of made more sense for me to align and like bet on myself. So this is, what I'm saying, this is me creating something out of nothing and like trying to pave my own way rather than like following in somebody else's footsteps or just falling in line with like other people's visions. So like anybody I work with moving forward, like if they're interested in joining a production company and like we are consistently pumping stuff out, then it's nothing. And like the credit and the income and everything will be split evenly, so everybody's making sure they get paid. But for right now, it's kind of more of like a startup
No,
to just represent myself.
no, okay. And how can the people support and help?
You can support by just like reaching out, comments. The algorithm fucking hates the new creators and shit unless you already big. So commenting, likes, following, visiting the website a couple times. But so if you can only do one thing, a comment will go a long way. I really appreciate like all the kind souls who reach out, including you, who reach out, let me know that what I'm doing is cold. I'm on the right track. Um, so just help keep a nigga focused, help keep a nigga doing it.
It's well deserved. And I always like to give back. This is our way to do it. Um, and like I said, your work, speak for itself. Especially to catch the eyes of the dead. And, you've been doing it for 8 years. You
Yeah.
gotta give yourself a pat on your back. Um, and what could we look for, seeing more from you coming in the next year?
I mean, twice as much as what y'all saw this year. I'm trying to come harder than what I've been doing, especially now that I have so much more free time. I'll be trying to knock out at least two or three unique shoots a month. So I just finished a script for a short film. I'm gonna be knocking that out. I'm trying to figure out if it makes more sense for me to shoot it in January or in early December, just because Seattle gets shut down really bad due to our weather. So a lot of people be traveling and everything. So I probably will be end up shooting it in January. So there'll be a whole short film coming out. Be dropping that. It's gonna be about 5, 6 minutes worth of stuff. Definitely some more fashion stuff. I got a Christmas and a snowshoe coming up with a good friend of mine. It's gonna be crazy. So like, yeah, more work is coming for sure.
Okay, shout out to you. Shout out to you. And my last question I want to bring up, checking out your website. Uh, can you tell us a bit more and what you got planned for it? What we would see, change over time?
The portfolio section will definitely be getting updated. I haven't updated it in a few months now, so it's hella new shit I need to add on there, which you could probably already tell. The price points and stuff for right now are pretty much gonna stay the same. I have not had any problems. I kind of tried to cover like all of my bases. People who can afford the more professional, high quality shit, and then people who want something high quality but can't exactly afford to break the bank because times is hard. Um,
Mm,
so the prices are gonna stay the same. We got like 350 for short form content, which is like a minute worth of vertical content. Some people like to split it up into like 4 15-second segments so they can just post it for content. Some people like to extend it to 3 minutes, which is just like a visualizer loop for music. $1,500 is the price point for music videos. But I also have a sliding scale. Some people have reached out to me and was like, "Hey, bro, I want a full music video, but I kind of only have a budget for like 7 or 800. Here's a track. Can you work with me?" More often than not, I'll be like, "I got you, bro." You know what I'm saying? Nothing, like I said, nothing to me is more important than like getting out some dope shit. As long as you got a cool attitude and you a cool, genuine person, I'm not finna hold you. Um, and I don't think I'm gonna overhaul it. I kind of like how the website looks right now. At one point, I don't know if you can see it on there or not, but I was thinking about doing prints, but that's a
mm.
whole different like ball game. So I'm not completely sure if I'm gonna do that or not because you know I feel like the only thing that's marketable for prints, like photo prints, is like landscape or touristy stuff.
Mm,
Buildings, you know what I'm saying, nature, animals. But seeing as how I do a lot more like fashion slash portraiture stuff, that's probably a lot more in line with mags than it would be, you know what I'm saying, somebody just buying this print to hang in their living room. Like, would you really buy a print of a random shorty and hang it up in your living room? Like, you probably you probably wouldn't do that. So, you know,
See, I'm a
that's how it
businessman,
is. You
so I'm
said
a
what?
businessman. I'm already thinking of like ways how that could be,
Yeah.
profitable. Like even with like, because like for example, I take a lot of my ideas from like things that's being missed or like desired in our society. For example,
Mhm.
like like MTV, for example. We don't have MTV for
Yeah.
our generation of music. Um, so like even with like when you was talking about like the photos for like artists and everything, they have like a place gallery, like a gallery, for it to
Hmm.
showcase that. I think that shit would be fun. Uh,
Oh, that would be fine.
but yeah, um, yeah, I think it all depends with the vision and or like even with we was talking about like tours or whatever. Um, if you take that same attraction to like people that's being like new, especially that want to explore like talent, I think that would be like cool,
Hmm.
for them as well. So it all depends on the audience, but I think it is potential there. Uh, it
I
it
mean,
just
look, we
depends on
should
how you
probably
put it
talk after this show then. Look, you got the ideas.
together. Hey, yeah, I'm definitely down. I was already liking what I was hearing with it. I'm like, God damn, this motherfucker sound like a full package.
Hey, look,
But
I've been on it.
But yeah, so yeah, I was already definitely interested. I just want to make sure to give you your flowers and promote everything that you got going
I
on.
appreciate it, man. I
But yeah,
appreciate it.
I was here. I was liking everything I was hearing. I was like, damn, all right. So you got some experience dealing with the label. You know who you want to work with. You also got a community mindset. I also agree with you when you was talking about. It seemed like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you also have the mindset of like giving back to like
Hmm.
people that's also struggling and everything. Like you said, like why would I make you struggle for 8 years? The
Right.
fuck? You could
Yeah.
be like, hey. I'm really inspired by merchants. So, back in the day, like motherfuckers used to make money telling stories of experience. Like, like what type of life was that? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like I just get to live life and I just sell this story to like other people and shit. So, I'm really inspired about that. I'm really inspired by community, just like, people coming together. So, that's what we offer too. Like, so you especially looking, explore and expand your connection. Like, we already promoted about like 200 people you got access to on your phone right now. So if you are interested to collaborate with more artists, to dive into more music videos, we've worked with some people that direct their own films outside of like, just jet production.
yeah,
Um, Shout out to McCain, but he do documentary films. He also, he's mostly of an actor, but he also got his background. But yeah, we came across like a lot of talents from like different backgrounds and shit.
yeah,
So, if you are looking to expand, we already offer that for you. Um so so yeah, just hearing like, what you was able to offer, like even checking out your website too. I would say as well organized. I like what you was like you're offering there. Uh I would say my one question, like to get the idea of like, of your price plan.
mhm.
Even on my like, taking the opportunity like to break that down for the audience.
Yeah, yeah. I got you. Um, Yeah, I'll just go over the whole thing. So I first got out here just like 3 years ago. My price point was just stuck at 1,000, right? I was at that point
Mm,
where I was like, I'm an artist. I need to get paid exactly what I'm worth. But if you get into business, you understand that like you don't set the price of the market sets the price. So depending on the area that you are in, you kind of have to do your own research and figure out like what's the going rate for that. So somewhere in Atlanta, the going rate would start off at like 800 to 1,000 plus, and that's just kind of not even for like the highest quality person. That's just for people who are just doing it because the market is just that. So being out here, there is not a huge music scene. There aren't any labels. So I had to get a little bit more creative. Like a lot of people don't know, but Seattle is a college town or college city for the most part. We got UW that's like 10 minutes, 20 minutes north. We got another college that's like 45 minutes to an hour east. And then we have another college hour north. So most of the people who are making music are in fact in college or just freshly out of college. They don't have a lot of money. So that gave me the idea to make the visualizers and short form content, which is 350. Um, which it don't sound like a lot, but I'm gonna come back and circle around and tell
mm,
you how that stacks up. The music
mm,
video is still set to 1,000. In fact, it's 1,500, and I set it up a little bit higher because I know most people can't afford that out here. So what that does is incentivizes people to get the short form content because most of the time, people who are getting music videos like locally they don't know YouTube for real and they don't have a YouTube following. So they're gonna put this 3-4 minute video up on YouTube, right? Nobody 20, 30 views on that shit. Unless you're really chasing this shit, you're not getting that many views. You're not really on YouTube.
mm,
So you better off marketing yourself to social media, which is Instagram and TikTok, because those have more to do with branding. In order for you to pop on both of those social media, you have to understand social media marketing. You have to understand branding. So once you start doing that, you essentially have done what a label is gonna do anyway. Because you get a music label, they're gonna sign you to a contract and they're gonna pay you X amount of dollars. You gotta pay all that shit back. And then they are controlling when your music gets out. That's why a lot of people who blow up on TikTok for their music get signed and you never hear from them again because they get shelved. Because what the
God
labels
damn.
kind of really be doing is they be buying up the newer artists and new sounds, shelving them, and then pushing the artists they actually want to push, and that's why they sound start
Mm,
sounding like so and so. Which say not too much of that. Coming back down to me,
mm,
350 for like a one up to a 1 minute type of finished project. That's about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours worth of actually in person shooting. I get back home, I knock color grade, knock that out in like 3 hours max. Hypothetically, I could do four a day, which is three times four, which my price is 350. So this is just average. 3 times 4 is 1,200. So I make anywhere from 12 to like $1,400 just off of four. And that could be in the same day, or that could be spread out through a week. But I also do photography. My photography is set up for like 2 to 3 a pop. If you want more creative stuff, it's 400. So people reach out to me for short form content, or they reach out to me for photography, which is priced at the same price. and I say, hey, I can add on video or I can add on photography on either one of those, that's going to jump the price up to like 600 or 700, which is on average of what I actually do make. And now you're getting a deal because at least out in this market, photography, really, really quality photography, just like standard base level, it's gonna be $600 to $700. Like if you want a couple shoot or a wedding thing, it's gonna be like 1,000. So you getting a video and some photography that is quality for like 7 to 8, and that's how I snag majority of my clients because I'm packaging both of their needs into one thing, and I'm really good at both. So now
Mm.
we take that same 3 to 4 people in a week, which would have been 12, and we, add that extra six per person, that shit stacks up really fast. And not only are they
Okay.
getting a deal, but I'm also selective over who I pick. So I have to make sure that I actually believe in you, I believe in what you're doing, or I just fuck with you as a person. So then when we go to shoot day, we have a great time together. That creates return clients. And I have a extra segment for like, which the new wave is social media content, a separate section, on the website, which is content packages. First package is 2,000. That's 30 posts a day for a month. Um, that's me making the content, curating the content, and posting it for you. Second package is 3K or 3,500 if I'm remembering correctly. That's 60 posts a month, 2 posts a day. Third package is 4,500, 90 posts a month, 3 posts a day. And I'm saying 1 to 2 clients of those, and then it makes it even easier for me to do the 350 to 4, because now I'm not trying to make as much off of each person because I already have my whale client covering me. So like
Mm.
that, and this is the exact formula is how I was able to quit my job 6 months ago because I got a whale client paying 4,500, and like saying my bills capped at like 225. So now I got like that covered, whole extra on top of like extra 1 to 2K generated just from the random clients that hit me up randomly. And I also put y'all on game. It's this app called Thumbtack. Depending on where you are at, the market is a little bit different, but that essentially is like Fiverr or whatever, but it's what I use. It's called Thumbtack Pro. You can list your services on there. They charge you for leads, which is fucked up. But
Mm.
once you get to the prices and stuff, like average lead out here for video work is $58. And I hit them with that combo. They paying 500, 600. I lost $50, but I'm still bringing in 450, 550, 650, and that's just kind of been my bread and butter. But that's very
Oh
specific to
yeah.
my market. So like
Mm.
you just have to do the research on your market. Also, you have to have confidence in what you're doing because I do have the occasional person who hits me up and is like, "Oh, this is too high." Cool, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I have other people I can recommend who could probably do it for cheaper or whatever because it's not necessarily about the money. It's just more so like, do you respect what I'm doing? Because I have plenty of people who also hit me and say, hey, I would love to hire you. It's a bit out of my price range. In that case, I can determine, am I willing to lower this for you specifically for this project? Or, what I'm saying, am I just trying to prioritize? If you come to me on some bullshit, the price not moving. The price is not moving,
Mm.
which does
Respect.
happen. I've had people hit me up and be like, hey, bro, your stuff hard, but I need you to come harder than that. You know what I'm saying? The last project was ass, this and that, and they trying to gaslight you into thinking that you worth lower than what you're charging when I'm not actually charging anything crazy in the first place. So, um,
Mm.
yeah, so that's pretty much me breaking down. I was looking at my website and everything, so I got it up. But that's me,
No,
like going
I
through the
respect
whole
that.
process. Yeah, yeah. Being as transparent as possible. There's no reason for me to hold this information. Like, you know what I'm saying? If
Mm.
y'all copy the same thing, y'all not taking away from them for me. If anything, I'm happy for y'all because now we all are in a position where we can do what we love and get paid for what we love rather than like, what I'm saying, struggling and then I'm just gatekeeping and I'm just watching y'all struggle. So,
Mm.
yeah, but that's pretty
No, I
much the full
agree.
transparency over the whole pricing, or at least what I figured out for my area.
Okay. No, shout out to that. And I was also curious, like, what comes into like what you offer and like your top tier package.
Hmm.
I see that you do like some social media engagement, posting them.
Yeah.
Um, okay. And shout out to that. And
Yeah.
what do you have to say?
I was about to say if you do decide to take the content package route, just make sure when you're talking to your clients to really emphasize that like this is not an overnight thing. No matter how much money they throw at you or they throw at anything, get it. Yo, social media built is not an overnight thing. It takes time. It takes years. It takes a lot of time. So like my sole role is not to get them 100,000 followers in X amount. Do not overpromise yourself. There is no way to guarantee that. My sole role is to create content that is engaging, that looks good, and that's gonna get posted. That is it. Like I do run their Instagram just from the posting it for them and like getting shit launched. I don't really respond to DMs or messages. I don't like I'm of course looking at like posting strategies and like other stuff,
Mm,
but like there is so much I can realistically do. Um Outside like you want instant results and shit, you're gonna have to buy your followers. And that's
mm.
you know what I'm saying that's gonna be obvious because you're gonna have 10K and you have 30 people liking your post. So like, you know. So
No, real shit.
yeah.
No, I respect that. And no, I agree with you, especially like we have to deal with the algorithms and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So we all know it. You gotta be a lucky few, or like part of what they allowing to be surfaced on that platform. Each platform got their own algorithm, so you gotta
Yeah,
really figure out. And I would even say like each of our pages got our own algorithm. So even the things that works here won't necessarily work for this person.
exactly. Hmm.
Um, so it's definitely a trial and error. You definitely got to test out your page and see what you're able to do with it. But I think it is fair for the service you could. It is a lot of work. I'm not even gonna hold you.
It's a
And the
lot.
part that you're doing right now, like you said, you don't even engage with like the engagement with the audience and comments and all that shit. Because that's a whole nother world,
It
than just
is.
posting the content. Uh, but I think what you offering is fair and understandable. Uh, and I think you do, like you said, you offer a great service. You offer great content to be posted and want to be shared. Uh, which that's what brought you here. So I think you definitely standing on your word.
I
So,
appreciate that. I
uh,
appreciate that.
no problem. Uh, I'm gonna cut it to the end, but before we go, we could definitely talk more after this. Um, but to end it off with this, shout out all your platforms. Shout out anybody that you want to put on, and then uh, I guess drop a project of yours that's already out that you want people to check out to tune into.
Okay. You can
Floor is
catch
yours.
me on IG and TikTok. My handle is Kai Wazaki, Kai period Wasaki. That is not my last name. That is just a play on words like the bike Kawasaki. Uh, Project you can check out Gallery Delulu is on YouTube. That's the one we were just talking about with the golf course, the couch, and everything. See how beautifully that came out. A few people I would shout out would be Grace the artist. You can check her out on Instagram. She is a videographer, photographer, and like she does collages. They are all dope. Um, my homeboy, Director Creed, you can check him out on Instagram. He has done some crazy shit. If y'all saw that music video with Drake and Sexy Red, he directed that. It's so many crazy people out here doing their thing. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, my website is www.colliewatson.com. You can check out like my portfolio, at least as current as it is. My pricing, so you can see that I wasn't capping about nothing I said. Like everything is on there on the page. My number and I think my email is also on there. So if you wanted to reach out for any reason, do your thing. Um, but yeah, that's it.
Shout out to you. I definitely appreciate giving our platform a chance.